Good morning, everybody. It's good to be here on a beautiful, beautiful Monday morning. We had some really hot storms last night with heavy, heavy rains. A little bit of flash flooding again, which is typical this time of year, but all is wonderful and sunny and bright today here in West Virginia. And it's really good to be with you. I'm sitting out on the patio today, relaxing and enjoying all the fresh greenery that the rain brought out. The tiger lilies are beginning to bloom, and so things are really colorful out here in the back of the house, which is nice and relaxing. I guess what I'd like to share with you today, something that I struggle with. I don't know if you struggle with it or not, but it is one of my biggest challenges, and that is breaking habits. I try my very best. It never seems to go exactly the way I thought it might. It's possible, but it certainly does for me seem to take a lot of hard work. And some of these tips that I'm going to share with you today are actually things other people have shared with me that I have implemented and have found do help in attempting to get rid of counterproductive behaviors and replace them with behaviors and actions that are more helpful to me in my journey. I'm not saying that they all work all the time. I'm just saying that these are things that really do seem to help in the long run. Habit change is continuing, and the longer you have a habit, it seems like the harder it is to modify the behavior and or replace it with another behavior that's better. So the very first thing that someone told me not too long ago was you need to be really clear about what you want. You can't be vague when it comes to trying to make a change. And the analogy that they used was a very clear one. It was you don't begin a trip without at least an idea of where you are going. You just don't usually say, well, I'm off. You usually have some type of destination in mind, and a lot of activities that you may want to enjoy along the way. And so I got to thinking, well, if I looked at habits that way and I created images that I could focus my feelings on and concrete descriptions of the changes that I might want to make, I might be a little bit more successful in making the change. One of the things I think all of us say from time to time is, I want to get organized. Well, that's about as vague as you can get. What do you want to organize? When do you want to organize it? Where is it? What specifically do you mean when you say I want to get organized? Organized is a broad-based general sweep of things. Same way with I want to lose weight. Well, okay, do you have any idea about how much weight you might want to lose, when you're going to start, how you're going to implement it, all these types of things. So, yeah, I do need to be more clear about what I really want to attempt to do. Habits are there for convenience. They keep us from having to think about a lot of stuff and we can focus our energies and attention on other things that demand and require it. Well, that's why changing habits is so difficult. To make the change, you've got to focus. You've got to pay attention to something that was basically on autopilot. And that's going to require a lot of effort on our parts. And then I got to thinking about some of the things that we all hear in our chapters sometimes. When people are so excited and they start on their journey and they're all gung-ho and they're all ready, and they say, okay, I'm not going to eat anymore after 6 p.m. I'm going to walk 3 miles every day. I'm going to drink 8 glasses of water every day. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. I'm going to do the other thing. And you have all of these changes in the way you usually live your life. And your life suddenly is turned upside down. Everything is cattywampus. Habits, again, remember, are there for convenience, so you don't have to waste a lot of time. Well, if you disrupt every single habit you have, it can be a little bit overwhelming. So maybe one of the things we can start doing is look at taking baby steps. Small steps that we do regularly always generate better results than large steps that we never take. Small steps done regularly generate better results than large steps we never take. Think about that. It's better to walk a block and really do it than swear you're going to run a mile, but you never get around to it. Avoid saying things like, I will try, or referring to things in the third person, like the weight is just not coming off. No, that's not exactly true. I didn't do the things I needed to do to make the changes. It's the weight is just the weight. It's just a number on a scale. What is important are the actions that I choose to take. And maybe I need to really define my actions in manageable parts so that I'm not overwhelmed. If after I say, I am going to do this, and I think that, nah, that's too big, maybe I need to step back and focus in a little tighter and make it something I really will do. Make it small enough that I don't have an excuse to not do it. For example, if I say I'm going to walk an hour every day, am I really going to be able to carve out that hour every single day? Am I setting myself up for saying, well, I just didn't have time to do it. I got busy. I got sidetracked, which all happen. It's part of life. Maybe I need to figure out what I can do and make sure I do that. And if time permits, maybe I can do a little bit more as well. If your inner critic is telling you you're not doing enough, you're probably on the right track. And by that I mean, if I say I'm going to get so many steps a day, and at the end of the day I look and I say, well, that was easy. That was a piece of cake. Maybe I can look at increasing the steps I'm taking, because I know that isn't a stretch for me. It's change of habits requires stretching yourself. Another thing that I have found through personal experience is there are going to be rough patches, and I need to embrace those rough patches. Just because the road I'm traveling has some bumps in it doesn't mean that I'm on the wrong road. It's not a straight shot from here to there. When we hit a barrier, we've got to think, I can do this. Don't think, well, it's all over. I've lost my mojo. I just can't do this. What's the point? What's the use? That's not the way to approach this. It's just a rough spot that you come into. And expect that you're going to have these difficult times and that there is a way that you can find to work through them. I have found for me that 80% of the setbacks that I have had are usually caused by a couple of issues that flare up after a period of time, and I have to deal with them over and over again. Well, what that tells me is I have not yet found the solution to that issue. When I find the solution to that issue, and there is a solution, I won't have to face it again. I'm still not at the root cause that triggers the incorrect response that I'm hoping for. Another thing that I have found that really is important for me is that I need to quit giving myself a way out. I need to make sure the back door is closed. I don't need an escape route. I need to be able to go forward, to not have that easy out. I need to make it easier to move forward and more difficult to stop trying. I need to clean up my environment of triggers, and I need to replace those triggers with some kind of support that's going to be helpful for me. I need to set my environment up for success. If your goal is to lose weight, then surround yourself with things that will help you keep focused on that goal. Are my measuring cups where I can get to them? Is the scale for measuring my food, instead of guessing at it, somewhere where I can get to it handily? Or do I have to dig down in the back of the cupboard and dig all these things out? Do I have a smaller size plate that I can eat on that's convenient? All these little things are helpful to set me up for success, so I don't have to go looking for them when the time comes to choose something to eat. Are my walking shoes by the door, or have I kicked them under the bed and I have to crawl under there to get them out if I want to go for a walk? All these kinds of things can really help me be more successful, because sometimes some of these things happen very quickly, not exactly as we had scheduled them, and we need to be able to adapt quickly and use the tools and make sure that those tools are handy just in case. If my goal is going to be more active, do I keep my Fitbit on, or do I have to go find it so I can track my steps? I tend to wear my Fitbit all the time and then get a sense of how much I move during the course of a normal day and how much I move when I focus on the activity itself. It makes a big difference. And I have found that during the course of a normal day, just moving around the house, doing the usual little things that I do, I get in about 3,000 steps. Those don't count for me in my daily total of steps taken. I need to get additional steps on top of that. For me, each of us is different, and each of us has to set our own benchmarks. So that's a help to me to know. The next thing that I have found that's really important when I'm trying to close that escape route so that I will stay focused and keep moving forward, is to not keep my goal a secret. A lot of times I don't tell anybody what I'm doing. And sometimes it would be helpful if I just said to everybody, hey, I'm giving this a try, and I would appreciate it if you jump on board with me and do the best you can to support me in this effort. Telling everybody who cares about me what I'm doing and how they can help me has been an eye-opener. I've had family members actually say to me, well, I didn't know that caused you problems. I won't do that anymore. Why didn't you say anything before? Well, didn't want to hurt your feelings. Well, come on now. If these people love you, they love you through all times, through all sizes, through all issues, and they want the best for you, and they want you to be able to live your happiest life. Uh, One thing also that I have found is I have to own what I do. I can't blame other people. Other people having birthday parties is not a reason to say uh, that I wasn't successful this week. Uh, it's not their fault they had a birthday. Uh, I chose to do what I chose to do. Maybe I had cake and ice cream and a little too much of cake and ice cream. I have to own that. It's not their fault. And that's important to make. The distinction between seeing myself as a victim, well, it was the circumstances. Um, I had a weight recorder one time say to me, and I still laugh. I had not had a good experience that week, and I'm complaining to her on the scales, and I said, I had company all week. It just wasn't good. And she looked at me, and I don't think she really meant to blurt it out, but there it came all of a sudden. She says, well, what did your company do? Tie you up and force feed you all week? And I had to laugh because there I was. I was saying, well, I was the victim. I had to do all this extra cooking and stuff, and that's why I gained weight. No, it wasn't. It was because I chose to eat more than I normally do when I was with the company that was with me. We have to really try to leap forward into success and embrace it. And the final thing that I have found, and I've alluded to it just now, is how important getting support is when you're trying to break a habit. If I'm honest, I will say to you, if I could have achieved my goal on my own, I would have already done so, right? I need a little help from my friends, and sometimes I need a lot of help from you all to help me be honest with myself and stay the course and look at what I'm actually doing that is most helpful for me in order to live my best life. Each of us is at times a teacher, and other times each of us is a student. In some areas, we can show others the way forward, and in some areas, we need to be guided and helped along the way. One thing I know absolutely is that there is no shame in learning, and there is great courage in asking for help. So, what I'm doing today is reaching out to all of you because I know you will always have a hand ready when somebody needs it. You don't have to feel indebted when you reach out. You'll be repaying the favor later on to somebody else that has reached a rough spot in their journey. So for today, I leave you with these 5 key tips for helping us all try to make some habit changes. Be clear about what you want. Make sure you take baby steps. Embrace the rough patches. Close the escape route. And be sure that you continue to get support in your journey. I hope you have an awesome, awesome day. I'm off to see my weight recorder right now. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.